Welcome to Kevs Travel Stories. Each week I'll be bringing you a story from the weird and wonderful world of travel, a world that can change the way you see life and love and even the way we find meaning. Places that are iconic and sometimes surprising and even terrifying. So sit back and enjoy while we go on a magical mystery tour together. I'm here with a very special guest. I have to say I have two very favourite travelling companions, and here is one. Here's the original one, actually. Kuba, my first grandson, only grandson so far. I'd have to say one of my really great travelling companions. I think we've had really memorable times, and we're here just to share what it's like, someone who's 70 travelling with someone who's 7. What does the difference in age make? Let's find out how I feel about that and the benefits I've got, and how Kuba feels about it, and maybe that will give you an idea of how you can travel with younger family members if you so wish, while not driving yourself demented. That's happened a couple of times. So Kuba, what's it like travelling with your grandfather?
I really like it because we have a lot of fun and we usually get a lot of free stuff.
That's one of the advantages of being a travel writer, I'd have to say. He picked up on that, that's for sure. Okay, so let's go back to our first memories. What would be your first memory of travelling?
My first memory would be probably skiing.
Let me just give you, dear listener, a little bit of context for this. I started skiing when I was in my late 50s, and it was quite nerve-wracking. None of the rest of my family, my son and daughter-in-law, nobody in my group really skied, and I came across it because I was a travel journalist. And I have to say, I decided when I got on so well with Kuba that we would have to go together, and I'd give him the gift of skiing. So when he was 4, we went with Top Flight, who was a great supporter, Irish travel company that specialised in skiing, and I brought Kuba away. And what was that first trip like? Just the two of us?
It was really good because I got to hang out with you when I was only 4. I got to see loads of places when I was only 4 years old. A lot of kids can't really do that with their granddad.
We made incredible friends. I remember thinking on the first night, the two of us were stuck in the restaurant thinking, my God, we've got to get a bit of company. And then what happened? Who did we meet?
3 boys, and I became best friends with one of them, and his name was Peter.
Yes, and I met with their parents, who were so wonderful, the Fortunes from Cork. So you hung out in cars. So this is how it goes when you go skiing. You bring your child or the person in your care to ski school, isn't that right? And we left you off at what time in the morning does that? About 10, isn't it?
10, yeah.
10. And then you pick them up at 3:30. So they have their whole day with their groups, their age group. And I have my whole day in my own ski school, so it's perfect, really. And then what was the highlight of your first ski trip?
It was probably with Peter skiing faster than you.
But this is, unfortunately, you create monsters when you're old and you haven't been skiing. You only took up skiing late. You create these monsters, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we come to the end of this podcast. But very soon, I think, maybe not on the first year when you were 4. I don't think you were better than me when you were 4, were you?
I think I was.
Are you thinking about the camera when I crashed?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell our listeners a little bit about that.
So we were skiing it down a hill, and I was going a bit too fast, I think.
You were with your group, your school. And what was I doing?
You were following us because you had spare time, and Kevin was videoing me skiing with our group, and then by mistake he skied into a tree.
It was very painful. I was so desperate to try to catch up. I just lost control. Things got worse, though, over the years, because how many years have we been skiing together?
For me, 5.
And then who joined us?
My sister Maya, and she's done 3.
And how good are you guys now?
Way faster than you.
And can I keep up with you at all?
No.
It's a very hard reality, in fact, that I have to just look at them from a distance now. I can't even go down the baby slopes and they just disappear. One really terrifying episode, just to give you an example. There's a thing called a fun park in ski. And you go down, once you start, you can't stop. You go through tunnels, you go around bends, you go over jumps, you have to go down different paths. And Kuba said to me, "You'll be well able."
That was Maya.
Well, whoever it was. And so I said, okay, well, I trust them. I went down it. Have you ever had that feeling when you're halfway down something that you promise yourself, if you survive this, you will never, ever expose yourself to this again? I remember once on a Big Dipper having that feeling. So there was pure panic. But we survived.
But you fell over.
I did.
And we lost my sister.
We did, but we found her eventually. Okay, so let's move on to other places that we have been. I have to preface this by saying that Kuba has travelled a lot with his parents all over the world. So he's a very seasoned traveller. But let's just talk about our companionship and where else we've been.
We've been to Belgium just a couple of weeks ago, like Ghent and Antwerp. And
What were the highlights of that? That was a city report for the
So,
podcast and the newspaper.
The highlight would probably be we had our own room to ourselves, and Antwerp because we went to Chocolate Nation and we still got loads of free stuff. And we got to go to the zoo.
What about the art? I was thinking you'd say the Ghent.
Massa, I liked the most.
It's a very modern building in the old refurbished docks, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a kids' room, and we met a friend there also. Her name's Ying Yi, and we met her in the kids' room, and she was playing this, like, you pick your own way game, and we joined in, and we became friends with her.
Yes, it was great. We had lots of interesting excursions, and I'd have to say Antwerp and Ghent. That was a wonderful experience. Okay, tell us what else have you enjoyed? That was the art.
Probably next would be, like, Italy, Lake Garda, Limone, where the first night we actually got stuck outside on the balcony. So I'll tell you about it. So we went into our room. It was really dark because it was like 9 o'clock. So we went out to the balcony to have a look, and we closed the door, and we didn't know there was a lock on it. So when we closed it, we got locked out, so we had to call the reception, and they had to come and open the door for
Luckily,
us.
they heard the phone. Otherwise, we'd still be outside the room. That was...
And another highlight of it, I got onto my bed. I had like a foldable bed, and when I got onto it, it collapsed. And I said, I want to sleep diagonal like this.
Yeah, with his feet in the air. Yeah, it's amazing what you remember from these trips. I'd have to say, dear listener, if you want the most wonderful time, you cannot beat Lake Garda. I will say this again and again and again. It has everything. It's got the moving lake. It's got the beautiful mountains and the sky. Isn't it fantastic? And we had actually the best time ever, and there was no arguing, which makes a difference. And of course, they have gelati.
And Limone, lemon drink.
The actual name of the town
Yeah.
we were in, which had all these lemon groves in the gardens we'd walk down to, wouldn't we? In this wonderful hotel, the Hotel
And
Splendid.
yeah, under the hotel there was like a big hill, and there was a lemon yard there.
Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so finish off with one other place that we have visited and had fun together.
Maybe you say about Malaysia?
Well, Malaysia was great because it was the first time Kieran and Maria took the kids away when they were very young. I think Kuba was 3, Maya was just born, basically. And we went over. I'd been apart from them for ages, and it was 3 months. And you're excited to see them. And then I got to the swimming pool outside this apartment, and Kuba looked up, saw me, and he ran over, and he was sort of like exploding with excitement. So that was great. And we had really good fun there. The street food was amazing. What do you remember of your trip around Asia?
I don't really remember much because I was really young. All I remember was the bug.
Oh, yeah. Tell them about the bug quickly.
The bug was every day when we were walking down for breakfast. My sister and my mum and dad went down the elevator. Me and Kevin always go down the steps. Every day around the 4th floor, we always see like a bug on one of the stairs, a squash bug, and then every single day we walk down for breakfast, we see it in the exact same spot.
Yeah, that became a bit of an adventure. Believe it or not, it doesn't sound particularly exciting when you put it like that, but we had good fun, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then finally, you can pick one of the great memories that we've had, and I'll give another.
Probably the best memory in Lake Garda. That would be my top place that we went to.
Okay, and why particular? Anything that really struck you?
Because it was nice view, it was always sunny. Me and my sister kept spraying water on each other, and the drinks were so nice there.
Yeah, I have to agree. And there were two memories I have, which I think really the kick you get as being a grandparent is sharing. So I can remember taking Kuba. Maya was too young really to remember it, but taking him into St. Peter's and just showing him the magnificence. Do you remember that? The dome and the sunlight? Maybe in a deeply subconscious way. Fingers crossed. The other one was going to Venice and then going on the Grand Canal, the three of us, with a gelato.
Oh, yeah. And we went to Peggy Guggenheim.
Oh, yes. What did you remember? What did you like about Peggy Guggenheim?
I liked, there was loads of paintings and statues, and there was a cafe, and the only way to get there was either by boat, because you had to go by boat because there's a big canal.
To the Accademia, yes.
Yeah, or you had to walk.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was great. And they loved the museum. So I think, it's great for me that I've handed on skiing, art, and next adventure will probably be ballet. What I would really recommend to people is try and have these adventures. Put the phone away, take the odd picture, but really it's been so memorable because I don't think you can get bored. I don't think I've ever been bored when the three of us have gone away together because maybe it's the child in me that really enjoys that. Our top tips have been Lake Garda for you, probably Lake Garda for me, but the fun of sharing, isn't that really it? The fun of sharing. And here's to more, because I think they'll live long in the memory.